already know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Girl, you jumped into this way too soon. Yes, I did. One thing about they are going to tell on themselves. If you really just sit and let them speak, they are going to tell on themselves every single time. Every now and then he would have random numbers just FaceTime him. I was not healed and I knew that. He did not want to unfollow his past lovers. He definitely was entertaining her. Like, that girl was not crazy for no reason. I really was not looking for anything.
I thought I found the one. We were vibing for months. He said all the right things, and when I finally gave him a real chance, he switched up. So I met this guy through mutual friends. He was charming, sweet, a little too smooth if I'm being honest.
We are here to discuss the long-awaited story time about me getting cheated on. When the situation first took place, I definitely was not in a position to be able to thoroughly get my emotions out when it came to this topic, just because it was a really sensitive time for me, and I think it really bruised my ego. I realized that I actually was not the problem. If a man wants to cheat, or if anyone wants to cheat, they are going to do that. That's already something that they have planned to do in their mind, and no matter how beautiful you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter what you do for them, if someone wants to cheat on you, they're gonna do it by any means necessary. And beat your own self up, because it's not even your problem. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and jump right on in, because as you guys can see, I went in and I had a lot of things that I had to discuss. As a lot of you guys know, I do not have much experience dating men when it comes to long term. For many years, I've dated women. I didn't really take the time to dibble and dabble into anything else, because I just felt like I had knew myself enough to know that I want to spend the rest of my life with a woman. But clearly that statement changed, because if not, I mean, we wouldn't ended up in this situation. Maybe within like the few month mark of me just being in school, I was getting out of something that was serious and kind of just within limbo of, do I want to get back in a relationship? Do I just need to remain single for the time? Or do I just want to vibe? Like, it was so many different things that were going on in my mind, because I personally just did not know what I wanted to do at that given point in time. I really was not looking for anything. During this time, I had came to the decision that it was probably just best for me to not be in anything serious, just because I just gotten out of something that was serious. Every time you say you're not looking for something serious, somebody just comes along and convince you to think otherwise, and that's exactly what happened here. While I was living in Manhattan, I did meet a young man that I genuinely liked. Within a few weeks time span, it just got to a point where I was being told things that I feel like I wanted to hear, and by being told things that I wanted to hear, I mean, this young man was making it seem like he wanted to be with me long term. He was giving me flowers. It even got to a point where I even met his mom. I met his sister. He was telling his teammates about me. Like, it really started to get serious. And although I was originally opposed to getting into something so serious so soon, I genuinely thought I was in love. Meeting someone's mom, going out in public, especially when it's a small college town, these are not things that you just do with someone that you're not trying to be serious with. I'm thinking, okay, cool. You want to be with me long term. I'm a lover girl. I can't fight it. If you're doing all these things for me and you really are showing that you want to be with me, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I already know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Girl, you jumped into this way too soon. Yes, I did. I jumped in head over heels, and that is because I was being manipulated along the way to believe that it was something that it wasn't. I feel like you could say I was a bit naive and oblivious to a lot of the red flags that I was seeing. Well, for example, I would notice that he would sleep with his phone up under his pillow every single night. It was on silent, and on top of it being on silent, it was on do not disturb. 2, every now and then he would have random numbers just FaceTime him, and he would never answer. I'll literally glance at the number. He'd see me glance at the number as it's literally FaceTiming him, but the number's not saved. So he just doesn't answer. He'll just move on from it as if we just didn't see it. Okay, so future editing Leah here, and it's a few things that I'm going to be popping in and out just so that I could give you guys a little bit more detail, because I feel like I did not thoroughly explain a few things. But listen, y'all. So I know it might sound crazy. You know, he could have just been receiving a regular phone call. It could have just been somebody random. Okay, cool. But listen, ain't nobody FaceTiming me consistently if we ain't been FaceTiming before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make no sense. At one point in time, I had asked him, because he was receiving a phone call like a few weeks later after he had already been receiving phone calls. I told him, I was like, hey, like, just pick up the phone. I want to know who's calling. Like, who's calling us? You know what I'm saying? Like, as a concerned person would be.
I'm not one of those people that is oblivious, okay? I'm not one of those people that's gonna turn a blind eye if I see something that I don't want to see. No, because you want to know why? Because somebody like me, I am always ready to walk away. I've always heard if you're not ready to leave the nigga for cheating, don't ask no questions. But you see me, I ask questions. I do, because I don't mind walking away, because I can always go find another one. He answered the phone. Why is one of his homeboys? Apparently he ain't got this homeboy's number saved. Okay, cool. He was like, something. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous to pick up the phone. If you ain't doing something you ain't got no business, why are you scared to answer the phone? One thing about they are going to tell on themselves. If you really just sit and let them speak, they are going to tell on themselves every single time. Every single time, y'all.
3, he was consistently in communication with his ex. Now, listen, by communication, I don't mean they are texting from my knowledge. One thing that we would always argue over was the fact that he did not want to unfollow his past lovers. You gonna be in a relationship with me, that ain't flying. And your ex is not gonna be commenting on your post. I know what it's like to have an ex be in a relationship. Still on my line, if your ex is always commenting on your post, I am always going to give the woman the benefit of the doubt. He would always say, well, you know, she's just crazy. Or like, you know, that's just how she acts. Like she always says like she's still gonna be in my life forever, da 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 da.
Knowing what I know now, I definitely feel like he definitely was entertaining her. Like that girl was not crazy for no reason.
He was so adamant on trying to get me to kind of just turn my back completely on my LGBTQ peers. Although I'm dating you, I still have friends that are a part of the LGBTQ community. So many people that support me are a part of the LGBTQ community. And it's such a slap in the face for me to just try to completely disassociate. Let me be me and embrace me, or stay away from me. It's not that hard. Him being controlling, this leads us into what I feel like really caused everything to just go downhill. This whole cheating scandal was all because I wanted to go to a Megan Thee Stallion concert. I believe the concert was like on July 7th. In my mind, I told myself, okay, you know what? I'm just go ahead and kick it in North Carolina because I don't have any plans for the 4th of July. Him and his teammates were possibly going to be going on a cabin/lake trip for the 4th of July, and that he wanted to invite me to go with him. This was going to take place on the week of the 4th of July, which means I was going to be there for the whole week. Weeks go on, weeks go on, weeks go on. He doesn't mention anything about this cabin trip. July had asked him like, yeah, what are you doing for the 4th of July? And he just said nothing, like I'm gonna just probably be chilling around the house. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they're not doing nothing. I'm finna book this flight and head out to North Carolina, and I'm finna kick it, and I'm finna see Megan Thee Stallion on stage. I'm finna enjoy this experience. I booked my tickets like 5 days ahead of time. It was last minute. I'm thinking he gonna be happy for me because he know how much I love Megan Thee Stallion as an artist. He was very upset. He was making comments like, when you're in a relationship, you just can't get up and go. You need to let me know if you're gonna go X, Y, and Z. Like basically just trying to make it seem like I gotta check in with him before I do anything. Don't think that you finna come into my life and think you can hold me down. Like he was starting to get real mean towards me. And you know what they say when your niggas start getting mean out of nowhere.
Mind y'all, me booking this trip was with no sneaky intentions. He thought that it was me trying to sneak off and be sneaky. I told him I would love for you to come with me, but he didn't want to come. So I mean, it's just like I could not win for losing in this situation.
Prior to me getting on my flight, I basically told him, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I actually think we just need to take a break from each other. We need to take some space because I don't like how you do X, Y, and Z. The conversation just got really heated, and you could tell that man was hurt. He was definitely hurt. Some of the things that he stated were very verbally abusive. And in my mind, right then and there, once he started getting out of his character, calling me out my name and all that stuff like that, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, like, see, I'm making the right decision. I was not going to let his pissy attitude ruin my experience. Those last 3 weeks of the month of July, we really were not talking consistently. It was on and off. We talk on the phone. It would be really random. I had a little bit of hope that things could, you know, change, and that he didn't really mean the things that he said on the phone. Although he hit below the belt, I also hit below the belt, and by me hitting below the belt, I said some things referencing his father, since his father is absent in his life, or was at one point, and that was not nice. I should not have hit that far below the belt. You forgive me, I forgive you. Let's call it true. With us deciding we're just gonna have this fresh start, we kind of start picking things up again. Like the ball is rolling. We kind of just kick things back off where we left off at. One day he had told me that, you know, he wanted to come out to the city to see me because he wanted to take me out on a date. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's do it. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. He ended up coming out to Kansas City. He asked me where I want to go. I want to go to my favorite bus spot. I most definitely am a regular at this place. Every employee knows me by name. I know them by name. You just don't take random people to your spot. We end up going to the first spot. We get our food. He gets like these wings. I get my food, and I think the total, it came up to like $30. Mind you, he invited me on this date, so I kind of already had it in my head that I was gonna pay for my own food because I just wanted to let him know this still is not fully sweet, although we cool. And so I went to go pull out my card because I was getting ready to pay for my stuff, and when I went to pull out my card, he pulls out his card. He was like, no, I got it, don't worry, I got you. The card declines. Gives the lady another card. The second card declines. I know he feels embarrassed because why after that he was like, oh, like if we were on a first date and my card declined, would you still me? He was fishing for that reassurance because he was embarrassed, but he just didn't want to say it. And so after all that, he told me, like, he came up and he was like, yeah, like something, like he was just trying to make small talk. And honestly, he was just trying to have a conversation with me, and I just was just making small talk because at this point I'm just like, please get out my house. Like, he ended up catching a hint and he was like, he's gonna go home, but he told me, like, when I get home, I'm gonna make sure to hit you up. He go home. I didn't hear from him the next day.
It didn't bother me that we weren't talking during those few days that we didn't speak. It bothered me because we had been texting every day literally prior to the incident that happened at the fuss spot.
On the fourth day when I heard from him, he sent a random photo of him after practice or conditioning. I don't really know, but either way, he sent a random photo, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to respond to that? We not together? I decided I was going to tell my vlog about it briefly because I feel like almost every girl has had an experience where they have been on a date and somebody's card declined, or like they've experienced someone who claimed they got it but they don't really got it. Like they said, like, girl, we're girls. I uploaded that video. Why within like 2 hours I get a call from him? He called me like 3 times. The first 2 times, I know he's seen me decline his call, so that's why he continuously called back. So I answered on the 3rd ring, and he was like, why are you talking about me on YouTube? I look at the phone, I'm like, my platform is not small, so I'm not saying that he just couldn't have watched the video, because once you put something out on the internet, it's out there. I get that. But he is not known to watch my videos, so it was really peculiar that all of a sudden you know that quick. The video ain't even been uploaded for a full 4 hours yet. Like, we joking about it on the phone. I'm like, who told you that? He was like, somebody told me. I was like, who told you? He was like, just know somebody sent me a screen recording of that you were talking about me. I was like, who the is tattling on me? I want you guys to remember this conversation about someone tattling on me, because it's going to play a huge factor later on in the story. So we on the phone, we just giggling, we just having a good time, like we really chopping it up. He had mentioned that like he just moved into his new spot, and I remember that before he moved into this spot, like he was so happy about this spot. And one thing about me, I'm very attentive, and so I had mentioned like, yeah, like when you move, like I really do want to gift you a housewarming gift. At this time he had finally moved and he wanted to formally invite me over to his house, and so I was like, period. I was like, that's cool, I'm gonna bring you a housewarming gift. But I was very intentional with the time that I went to his house, because I was very strict on not wanting to be intimate with him. And I say this because every time we would have a conversation about if he did anything with anyone or if he had relations with anyone during our break, he would literally go completely over the question and say something along the lines of like, I'm just locked in with Ball right now, da 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 da. Girl, you know, the fact that he couldn't give me a direct answer, it kind of told me what I needed to know, but I was kind of also in delusion.
When we had the conversation of deal breakers, he knew that my #1 deal breaker is if you go and sleep with someone else.
I went down there. We were having such a great time, just chopping it up. You know, it was kind of like the good old days. And of course, time went by so fast. And next thing you know, it was nighttime, and he was really trying to get me to stay the night, and he did a really good job of convincing me. He almost had me. After I showered and stuff, I got in bed, and he was trying to be intimate with me, but I just was very standoffish, and I don't know what it was, but I just had a bunch of discernment in that point in time that was telling me, Aaliyah, do not have sex with him. Like, do not have sex with this man, because something just did not feel right. That after I declined his offer, I just felt like it was best that I got up and go home. So I decided that I was going to get up and take that drive all the way back home that night, because I just didn't feel comfortable at that point in time. I just felt like I had voices in my head telling me, Aaliyah, just don't go through with it. Don't fall for the temporary temptation, because something just does not feel right here. I went home. The vibes were definitely off between us. And I remember asking God for clear guidance as to what it is. Like, whatever I need to know, please place it in front of me, because right now I need a bunch of clarity. I'm really thinking that he's a changed man because he's telling me that he wants to do better, he wants to do right by me, and he's ready to step up to the plate and be a man this go around. And so part of me is believing him, but another part of me, just like I said, something is off and there's something that I do not know. I remember I would always ask questions like, have you been intimate with anybody else? But he would never answer the question with a solid yes or no. And that was a huge red flag for me, because I feel like if you didn't do something, you would just say it directly. I know when someone is trying to get over on me. At this point, I decided I'm going to start going through his following counts. I'm going to start going through his likes. I'm going to start going through all of these things to kind of try to pinpoint if he's been with someone or if he's been acting strange or anything of the sort. Because one thing about Kansas, it's really small. So when it comes to these small college towns like Manhattan and Lawrence, it's not many black people, okay? Like, it's only a handful of us, and I guarantee you almost all of us have crossed paths with each other at least one point in time. So I kind of start trying to put two and two together. Like, I know what his ex looks like and what his standard type is, and I'm trying to see if I can find that within his following. And luckily enough, I did. If you looked at his ex and you looked at me side by side, two beautiful women, but we are two completely different women. I found a young woman who was consistently in his likes. When I looked on her page, I noticed that she was going to a lot of the events that this team was having, as in like either games, things of the sort. And I'm like, I'm finna clock your tea. Like, I'm finna keep you on the sideburns because I really think that you could be a potential suspect, but I'm not gonna pinpoint you just yet. You know what I'm saying? He would always mention that during our break he was talking to somebody, but it was nothing serious. However, he never mentioned to me that he slept with this young lady. He never mentioned anything about that. And so eventually one day, like, it just comes up in conversation. I'm like, how do you know this girl? He like, oh, she cool. Like, I don't really know her like that. Like, I know she go to my school though. We've DM'd each other a couple of times, but that's really it. Right then and there, just by the way he was explaining it, I knew he was lying. From then on out, I was clowning him. I don't care. So one day her page came up recommended to me, and I'm like, God, why did you putting this girl on my For You page? What is it about this girl? What do I need to see her for? I end up seeing that she is mutuals with a few of my mutuals from my hometown. The main person she was a mutual with was my little cousin. I asked him, I'm like, who is this girl? Like, did she grow up in the same hometown as us? Like, cause I ain't never seen this girl a day in my life. I was like, oh, well, she went to X, Y, and Z. Just basically give me the rundown and spill her. So I'm like, you got her number? Like, do you have her number? He didn't personally have her number, but he got her number through somebody else who knew of her. So at this point, I get her number. I don't let her know that I have her number, though. I decided I was going to Two Phones, them both. If you're not familiar with what Two Phones is, yeah, I'm telling y'all some of my secrets. But you put in two phone numbers, they call each other, and you have the opportunity of listening on the line. They don't know that you're there. So basically, if I have Square and I have the girl, we're gonna name her Circle. If I have Square and Circle's number, I can program both of their phone numbers into that website, and they will call each other. But to Square, it's gonna look like Circle called him, but to Circle, it's gonna look like Square called her. If y'all don't know each other, why would you guys get on the phone together? So let's put it to the test. What did I do? I put both of their numbers into two phones and I made them dial each other. Girl, they are literally chopping it up. You do know this girl. And you've been kicking it with this girl. At this point, I already know who it is. I got the girl. Busted. I need to know if he slept with her. Because if all it took you was 3 weeks for you to go lay up with another woman, I want nothing to do with you, like, ever again. You are very lustful. There are so many red flags with that, and people can spin it no matter how many times they want into the whole y'all weren't together. I don't even want to hear that. If I tell you at the beginning of our relationship, if we go on a break and you go sleep with somebody else, that we're done, and you put yourself in the position to where you decide you're going to take advantage of the opportunity and not care about what I said, that means you didn't care about me. You knew how that was going to make me feel, and you still went and did that. And I don't want to be with anyone that does not care about my feelings. He's still talking within weeks. Mind you, he doesn't even know that I have been pranking his phone. Literally, I've been playing on this man's phone. He don't even know. At this point, he still has not openly admitted nor denied if he has slept with someone. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go on to tellyourpartner.org.
And for those of you guys who don't know what Tell My Partner is a website where you can go online and basically you put in someone's phone number, and an anonymous text will be sent to them letting them know, like, hey, yeah, one of your sexual partners has tested positive for this STD. I think you should go get tested. So I thought if I sent him a fake text message like that, that would scare him into just admitting that he had sex with someone.
Days go by, he's at this like conditioning thing all the way in Chicago. I felt like that was a perfect opportunity for me to just ask him the truth. So did you sleep with anyone while we were on a break? Mind you, we were texting. Y'all, I kid you not, this man did not respond for like 2 hours, okay? And when he finally responded, he sent the driest yes. And when he said that, I didn't even send him no long paragraphs crying. I didn't say none of that shit. Like, although I was crying, I was hurt. I basically told him, I was like, you know what? Like, I told you what my deal breaker was, and for you to go do what I told you I would never forgive, that means you didn't care about me. So no, I don't want to be with you anymore, and that's just that. But in that point in time, I crashed out. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you guys everything because it is still kind of fresh, so I don't want to self-incriminate myself. But let's just allegedly say that while he was in Chicago, I used that opportunity to pull up to his house, break into his house. I knew with whatever damage I left, he was going to see it when he got back home. Like, it was going to make him even more mad. So that night when he got back, he had called me once, but I didn't answer. I missed the phone call. So I called him back maybe a few hours later. He didn't answer. I'm calling his phone, calling the phone. Girl, I called him like maybe 5 or 6 times, and it was declining every single time. So I was like, I know you got your phone on you. Maybe about an hour later, he finally calls me back. He's whispering. I'm confused. Like, why are you whispering on the phone in your own house? I basically just tell him everything that I know. But on the phone, he's telling me that, oh, it was only one time. She was just a... The man was dogging her out, y'all. The man was literally dogging her out on the phone. I just told him, I'm like, I'm finna pull up. And he's like insinuating, don't pull up, don't pull up, don't pull up. Girl, I hung up the phone and I pulled up. I'm trying to get into the building. Mind you, it's really late, so there's not a lot of foot traffic in and out for me to just be able to slip into the complex. I was like, okay, cool. No, if I would have walked up in that crib and seen what I know was going on in that apartment now, Lord knows I probably would have ended up in jail. Like, this man is pleading I don't DM this girl, and I'm like, I knew it. I knew it was her. I don't care. I DM'd her. I DM'd her on every single platform that she followed me on, and to let her know that I see her, and most importantly, I want her to wake up and see the mess. DM her, I was like, hey, when you get a chance, can you send me your number because we need to talk. Mind you, I already had her number, but I didn't want to let the girl know I had her number because then she probably would have thought I was crazy, which I am a slight bit, but that don't matter. I woke up at like 7 o'clock. I'm ready. I'm waiting on her to call me back because I have a lot I gotta get off my chest. She finally DM me back. She sent me her number. We get on the phone. Literally the opening sentence I said when we get on the phone, I told her, I'm like, yeah, so are we messing with the same person? Y'all won't believe what this girl said. This girl gonna tell me, yeah, I actually know that we are. I'm not tripping with her. Like, my issue is not with her because ultimately she did not owe me no loyalty. I'm just here to get the clarity that I need to make sure that I wasn't tripping. This girl gonna tell me they have been having sex for the past 3 weeks. They've been doing it raw. He is not taking her on any date. All they do is lay up, but she liked him so much. I just had to break it down to her. I told her any and everything he told me about her. Maybe at the time I did tell her all these things to hurt her feelings, but I just feel like she needed to know. She needed to hear that he was talking about her behind her back. That is exactly why he is not taking you out on any dates, babe. She literally slipped up and told me on the phone. The only reason that the conversation of dates came up was because she seen my video about how he took me out on a date. And she asked him if he took me on a date because, you know, in my video, I stated he took me out on a date. I didn't say who, but if you put 2 and 2 together, then you would know. She said that he told that he was in the city hanging out with his homies. Basically, after us having a long conversation of us just chopping it up and just basically going over our experiences, it ended in a moment of sisterhood, I thought. Basically telling her that she deserves so much more. I am mature enough to be able to say that she is a sweet young woman and he did not deserve her because she genuinely on the phone, she sounded very heartbroken hearing all of these things that I told her. And I had to tell her because I knew he was manipulating her. I knew that he was telling her one thing and lying to her in order to get into her drawers. And I feel like you're not a player if you gotta lie to get what you want. And I can't respect that. And that is why my heart went out to her and I told her, babe, you deserve so much more and he is not so much more. You're not who his heart wants to be with. He has said this on multiple occasions that you are just someone that he wants to do when there is nothing to do. By the time we ended the conversation, I thought we was cool. I'm thinking, okay, me and a girl cool. The next day I get up for church. Somebody is blowing my phone down. Why is it him? I blocked his number. He texted me from some of his teammates' phones, called me out my name, just being so disrespectful. Eventually, once he stopped getting a response out of me, he came around, slowly but surely. And he was really trying to make up for what he had did, but I felt like the trust was already broken, and I could not look at him without knowing and thinking about the fact that he had the audacity to go lay with another woman, lie to me, and then had the nerve to try to be intimate with me. I don't respect that. After I decided to leave him alone, that was pretty much it. It just was what it was. I don't know what could have possibly happened along the lines of the young woman, but y'all, circle unfollow me on everything. Take it from me, please, please do not be like Circle. If you're gonna take anything from this story, take that. Nonetheless, I hope that you guys enjoyed this story. I love telling it. Oh my God, I haven't told a story time in so long. This was so fun.
Loyalty is rare, but your peace is priceless. Don't ignore the signs, don't settle for half love. And remember, sometimes losing a man is the best thing that ever happens to you. Subscribe to Loyalty or Love for more real-life relationship truths. Drop A in the comments if you've ever caught a cheater.